Hey, Love Bay. What's going on? It's your girl Petra here, representing for Highway 6 to Africa. As usual, I'm not here by myself. I'm here with the wonderful TyB. And we're also joined by the wonderful CJJONNY. So I'm going to start off with TyB. What's going on, TyB? How are you?
Nothing much, but I'm alive. It's 2025, and nice to see you again.
Good to see you too. This is our first official show of 2025.
That's righty. And
I know.
we miss Ronnie Boy.
I know. We're one musketeer short today.
That's righty.
Yeah, so you definitely want to shout out our friend Ron Malinga. Ron's not here this week, but he'll be joining us next week. So we're definitely going to shout you out wherever you are, Ron. I know you're tuning in. And how was your week? You said you're just here, right? Anything exciting happen for the week?
Everything has been so great, and you know what? We are retooling the studio, as we discussed. Everything looks so good. So on Monday we are going to go see how equipment, everything is ready to roll. So, well, we'll speak offline and give you a whole lot of big stuff that needs to be ironed out. And so far so good. So far so good.
I love that. I say get the scoop off air. But yeah. I like that. Lots of activities happening in the Love Base studio, happening with the team. Lots of great things happening for the year. And me, myself, honestly, just happy, 2025 is here. Start off with a bang, looking forward to what's to come. But I know today we actually have a special guest in the studio. We're super excited. It's not his first time on Love Bay. So we're definitely happy to have him back. So I'd like to introduce the wonderful, phenomenal singer, songwriter, producer out of Nigeria, CJJONNY.
Guys,
How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy
Yeah.
to you too.
We need you as well. How's everything been since last time we saw you?
Yeah, it's been a story, but we've been good. You Basically building on the music and planning on dropping an EP this year. So I've been stacking music, just prepping for that. And lots of story, man. I'd love to share with fans and share with you guys. So it's been good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Most definitely. And I mean, the last time we saw you, you had a friend with you, and
Yeah. Shout out, shout out,
OT,
OT.
OT, my man. OT.
Man, I wish he could be. Hopefully, he could be on. The next time we get to talk, he could be on here with us.
Oh
What
yeah.
he's doing, and we've been working on lots of music together. So shout out OT, and you know, all love from here.
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Definitely want to shout out to Ogra. She's tuning in. Hi, Ogra. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
Hello, girl. Hello.
and I want to shout all the listeners all over the world right now tuning in from many countries worldwide. That love to be joining us and driving along with us on the Highway 6 to Africa.
That's the way. That's the way. We go back there and pick up, rhythms, music, everything. Yeah, we're on the highway there, and going.
Yeah.
Yes. There's no other place like home. That's right.
Beautiful.
That's right.
So I want to start off by asking my signature question. I want to ask CJJONNY. I mean, there's many of us that do know who you are, but for the listeners that are tuning in for the first time, can you just share with them who is CJJONNY?
Okay, basically CJJONNY. Just like you said, I'm a producer, a songwriter, an artist, and I think I love art. So I'm basically someone who's, deeply into art, and I love to create. I love to help others create, as well. So I'm I'm an entertainment kind of guy, you know. You get more out of me when we start speaking about music and stuff like that. So that's CJJONNY, you know. I'm from Delta, you know, and I stay in Lagos and Asaba. That's it for now.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
That's righty. That's righty.
So just to kind of refresh your memory, like, so what made you get into the music? Tell us about your story.
Okay, I think basically one of my early, you know, stories of music has to be like my family, my dad and my mom. Like they were very good with their music. Like they had a good playlist. So
Mm,
growing up in such kind of home kind of like gave me that sense of music. And I could always remember going to school or probably going to church and listening to the playlist on the road there. So that's like my early craftsmanship of for music and loving music, you know. Like I said the last time I was on this show, you know, Celine Dion. We listened to a lot of Celine Dion at home, you know, and Backstreet Boys
mhm,
live and a lot of reggae. So, you know, I growing up in that kind of family, and then I went to Lagos after like high school. I went to Lagos and I stayed with my uncle who was a big reggae, you know, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and all that type of music and Fela also. So I started like listening to reggae after high school, you know, staying with my uncle in Lagos, and I kind of like started mixing. That's when I started getting into Afro music, basically. Like when I was in Lagos, listening to a lot of reggae, and then evolved into listening to some Fela, watching some documentaries before I started pursuing music, basically. You know, so modern rap also had a lot of influence on me. You know, I loved, you know, the 2008 2010 rap era. I was a big
mm.
I was a big fan of that. Every song that came out, like I was into it. So when I started making music, it was just like, you know, this whole background of music. Like how do you piece out the sounds you love from each genre and make it unique. They make it modern because you know music moves with time. So just growing since then, growing, trying to get stronger. You know, with my craft, with my vocals, with my sound, and that's where we at right now. We're pushing. My EP's coming out this year, so I'm working on it. I'm in the studio right now, I'm just working on it. So that's where we at. Hope
That's
I didn't.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, definitely share. The listeners definitely want to hear your story. And I love to hear that, like all the different music and different sounds you grew up listening to, you
Yeah.
know? Because
Yeah.
I also was a bit of a Backstreet Boys fan, I swear, when I was growing up.
Yeah. I'd love to sample something from them if I could.
That honestly, I think would be so crazy. Like CJJONNY and, with
Yeah.
Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
be like insane, you know?
Yeah. 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 I've been listening to classics, looking for something that connects.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you. TYB?
Well, sitting here listening, yes, I think that's what makes you a multi faceted artist. And like coming out of Nigeria, everybody would have expected you to say, you know what? Oh, he plays Afrobeat. No, why hasn't he? You know, why is he not an Afrobeat musician? But there are a whole lot of musicians out there. Some of them have been here, who are not in that Afrobeat kind of who
Lane.
don't have that. That's right. So what pushed you there? Because do you want to sound something different to chart your course? Because there are a lot of Afrobeat musicians out there. Is it the reason why, or is just because of the fact that you've listened to so many different kinds of genres of music. That's what has made you where that is where it's put you where you are right now.
Yeah, I'd say that, listening, like growing through different genre of music, listening, Michael Bolton, Phil Collins, like that's, I'd say that was like, me being conscious of music to like when I was 10, was filled with those type of music. And, evolution, I had a little bit of highlight, but I wasn't really very interested in that because probably my understanding wasn't at that peak yet. But when I moved to Lagos, I really kind of had a time to really listen to music and just channel my curiosity into this genre and trying to just be strong, kind of like, when you start listening to music and you start looking for deeper meaning, you just have to know what's behind the music. So I started doing a lot of that. Like, okay, these artists that are really this great, what made them great? Oh, then I started paying attention. Bob Marley mostly, like I connected to Bob Marley's Peter Touch, Lucky Dube, like listening to a lot of them. I listening to a lot of their backstories, and it intrigued me because why I like reggae so much, they have a lot of spirituality, trying to like think, reason beyond the, what you see kind of stuff. So I was like, I was moved with that. I was like, that's true. They have a lot of Bible verses and the songs and stuff. So I connected to that. And then rap also kind of like gave me that, because I'm young, like you kind of like evolve with the songs you meet in your age. Rap was like very, very poppy when I was like trying to get into music, so I was very big into rap. And knowing I'm in Nigeria, where it's basically Afrobeats reigning towards that time, like I love Afrobeats, but the kind of songs I want to make, I just want to make like the kind of songs that will really push beyond me and can connect to other people who aren't big into Afrobeats, but you're still gonna get that sound because I'm in Lagos, I'm in the Afro Center, but you're gonna get, yes, you're gonna get that part too. So the challenge as an artist is finding your own voice, finding your, and still connecting with the fans, because you got to connect with the fans. So every day when I'm going to the studio, I'm like, okay, we've done this song, like what is missing, what can we do to, you know they know that, okay, you're something different. So that's basically where I'm at,
Yeah, yeah.
pushing man.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I'm also. I mean, when I started my career, the same thing. What made me go into music was that when I was growing up, I listened to different types of music, different genres. So right now, you can't pin me down as
In one book.
in one
Yeah.
box. And then in this modern world, I think it gives you that um, space and the wiggle room to do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
So not to be tagged like oh, that guy is an Afrobeat musician, and so you know what it is. So the moment you move from Afrobeat and go and say record something in reggae or say in R&B, say, you know what, he can fit it, because I'm seeing little bits and pieces of where some musicians are right now, some artists are right now. I'll mention names. It's not, and I love him. Burna Boy, for instance, Afrobeats. Now he jumped into R&B, right? He's recording so many different. So if it gets to that point, people you sort of lose it a little bit, because everybody has put you there that, oh, it's an Afrobeat, and what's he doing over there? So that kind of stuff. So I think it's not a bad idea. It's good to be adventurous, where you started it as, this is my personal opinion. You just go with the flow, and you know, I like what you're doing. So far, I mean, how long have you been in the industry?
Yeah, I think this is like I should say like 8 years.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
awesome,
yeah,
awesome. 8 years.
yeah.
8 years is a long, you know, it's a long way. And
Prob-
you're doing so great. Because I've been listening to some. When I went to Spotify, and I listened to a lot of some of your stuff, and even I was told that during the promo they use some of your Nice, for instance, that the track. I love it. Nice is a very good track, and you know, I'll say continue doing what you're doing, and you know what, and this is the platform for the whole world to listen to who you are, where you've been, and where you want to take the music to, and where do you think you want to take the music to?
yeah, I think I want to take the music looking like I'm listening to, where Nigerian music, Afro music is at right. There's a lot of, piano and the dance hall, vibes mixed and right now.
Hmm.
So what I'm doing on the drawing board, I'm trying to push more of the rap part
Hmm.
of CJJONNY in this next EP. The rap and a little bit of Afro, but basically the rap and a little bit of Afro. So because like a lot of my fans, because when I try and get a feedback,
Hmm.
they want me to go harder on the rap parts. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and really push it there because that's where I'm feeling comfortable right now. And those music is about season and mood and all that. So you've got to move where the spirit leads. But I'm
Hmm.
trying something that is really classic, something that's good.
I love this comment. What you just said, Petra, help me out here. You help me out here. Has there been any Afrobeat tinted rap music? Because you're talking about that. Because we had Check here. Check was here, amazing artist. Check was here a couple of years ago. I think, yeah, about 2 years ago, and he's strictly there.
Yeah,
Any, I don't know. Help me out there. Rap and Afro.
Um,
I think
Not exclusively, not
Mhm.
like a CJ Johnny. You
So
know what
that
I mean?
so that's an idea. That's an idea for you.
it's
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
so you see, there's not a lot of people in that box or the market. There's a market for that. So
Mhm.
I just have to really go hard and bring out quality music. Like you could say Black Sheriff, the
Oh
Ghanaian
yeah.
artist,
Oh yes.
Kwasi Ot- Kwasi Otto, Ghanaian artist. I used to
Mhm.
listen to Kwasi, but I don't know. He stopped going hard on that part of the music, Kwasi Otto.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Mm.
if if it's in Nigeria, it has to just be or just a couple, very few,
Yeah.
Olami English. I think
Well,
no.
that's interesting. Yeah, Petra.
Hmm. So yeah, that leads on to my question. I wanted to ask you. So, what is it, CJ Johnny, about hip hop or the influence of hip hop that makes you that is aligning with you right now in order for you to feel comfortable to pretty much share your thoughts and share your story?
Yeah, I got listening to like some of my early works,
Mm.
and I was I started like doing flashbacks to like, okay, when I was creating the projects, mostly my first projects, and it was very hip hop influenced. I was very very hands on that, and then my second project was much more. I was just much more on sound, trying to get like an international sound. Then I think that's where Nice came from. You get
Ooh.
so, and I have after those two projects, I basically worked more on collaborations and singles. Like I put off putting on projects or EPs out. And then when I look through the my musical history since then, I'm like I've done some Afrocentric stuff that I really liked, and I will still add some Afrocentric sounds like the melodies from the guitars and stuff. But I'd love to use the hip hop, the drums and stuff like that. Just mix it up because when I look at the fans, when I look at my own music taste, that suits very well with me because I feel like I start writing better when I'm working with such elements in my music. I can pass,
Mm-hmm.
better form of music because it just aligns well with me than trying to like push myself towards okay, this is trending right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's trending. So I try to kill that urge of trying to do something that's trendy. I'm just looking for my best collection of music and you know the ones I can tell a valuable story, the ones that I can put out that can actually make people listen. You know, that's really what I want to do, and I feel like those are the two sounds I would love to work with this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, no, thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really great. You're putting a fresh like take or a fresh view or fresh sound into the music that I feel like you're taking two elements that have proven to be popular musically. Like everybody loves Afrobeat, everybody loves hip hop. So then yeah, it only makes logical sense to combine them together. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah, so definitely doing that is it's really exciting, you know, and so far so good. You come up with some amazing songs, some amazing sounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you in relation to your current project, like what inspired your EP? Like what was the inspiration behind this project?
okay, this one that's ongoing right now that's about to come out.
Correct. Yes.
I think I think first of all, my team, shout out to Element, my team, I go working with a very good video creative mind. I think he's the one who shot Nice, the
Mhm.
video. So, we got talking and he's very good with, he's a very good creative video, cinematography kind of guy. So we started talking about, pushing ourselves like, okay, how do we push when we look at the catalogs of what we've done, how do we go again and go better this time? So, started brainstorming and I was like, I pitched to him the idea and he was like, you know what, I think you should start working on it. And like through the years, me working on music, there are some songs where you're like, oh, I really love this song, but maybe it's not yet ready to be out. That kind of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
so I have those songs when I go back and I listen. Okay, these are a couple unreleased songs that I've really, put down in my notes that these songs I'm gonna come back to you guys later on. And I listen to the elements because they're old songs. Some of them I did them probably 2 years ago. There's a song that I really want to put on the EP. So we're working on like the mixing and the mastering and a couple lead guitar plays on it. So and I had that song a couple years back, but when I listen to it, it kind of like resonates with me right now. So I took that song like, okay, I'm gonna put you like track one on this EP, and then try and build it from there. So that also helped, and I, yeah, basically from there, I'm in the studio right now. Looking for the sounds like all the big talks I'm talking. I'm in the studio trying to look for the right sounds that I'm gonna work with and make the best songs for the EP. So it's ongoing still, but we're almost done.
That's the thing with great works, it's always ongoing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah. TYB?
TYB.
Yeah. You said something that's very, very, very interesting. I have so many songs out there that I haven't touched. But then you might think it's old because we got 2 tracks from this young, I would say diva from Ethiopia.
Yeah,
And the one I think Petra, I shared it with you and around the other time. If you listen to it, I mean, the sound is the 50s, that of the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
That of the 50s. And listening to it, I said, wow, what sort of gave her the idea? So nothing should be old because she's doing great with that. Because um,
yeah,
a lot of people may not have heard the 60s. I mean, I'm talking about 60s jazz, kind
uh,
of thing,
uh,
pop and those kind of stuff. And it sounded so great. So I think what you have, don't think it's old, but
yeah,
rather, I think tweak it a little bit and put it out there and see how it
yeah,
pans out. Because yeah, yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. I would do so. Do so because I think you know when you're making music, sometimes you kind of like hold the music back, like, oh, it's not good enough,
Hmm.
and maybe you're just sitting on gold. You
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I think it takes another level of self training yourself to be confident and say, okay, I'm gonna share this music out there with other people. You
Mhm.
get so walking walking on that level of okay, you have the confidence in the music that oh you've pushed yourself to the highest heights and you can actually present this out. When you have that satisfaction, that helps you put out the music as an
Yeah,
artist. Because you
yeah,
don't want to put something and you feel like, oh, I could have done something.
that's right.
Yeah. But so it's like you have to be putting in the work to do the good music, and then the after work of having the confidence and the mindset and strategy to put it out there for people to listen. Putting it out there means pushing it, promo, having a team, videos, and all that. So
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
takes time.
yeah.
So I think that's what I'm trying to get all all in one.
And my follow-up question will be with the advent of AI, how do you see it affecting AI? Honestly, Petrol will tell you, AI is my best topic. I mean, anything that comes out of my mouth because
Okay.
that's the way we're going right now, right?
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Love Bay has an AI. There's a Love Bay Radio AI. And
Okay.
once you go there, yes, .ai, if you go there, man, it
Yeah.
opens up a whole lot of avenues. So many pages comes out there. And
Wow.
I'm saying to myself, because when I was speaking with the specialist, they said, well, the .com and the .live and the whatever will soon pass away.
Yeah.
And so we tried the .ai and it was, whoa, it was so huge yesterday. I was so excited. So with the
Wow.
advent of AI, how do you
Yeah.
see it affecting us in this industry?
Okay. So basically, AI, because I think I've had this sit down with myself. I was watching like an interview. I think it's Will I Am. Yeah, he was doing an interview. So he spoke about the AI. And it was like it's either you kind of like adapt to it, find the best. I think the best part of the AI that could help you, or you kind of like look at it like, oh, it's about to ruin your music and ruin everything, and
Mm.
eventually you get pushed, you get out of touch. So me personally, I dabble into AI now because I think a couple of the producers I follow, they've started working on. their own programs and features and stuff like that. So I work with AI in the sense of maybe music now, because I think there's an app, Fader. It can help you like separate stems you get of music. So in the sense where you're in the studio and you're working with like this Backstreet Boy stuff we just talked now. Like if I have a song and I really want to like study the song, I could use AI now and like separate it and just study the sounds and the patterns, and I could go use that for my own sound. I'm not necessarily like copying the song, but I'm just learning it deeper because you get AI is there. So I feel it's to find a balance, but I'm not all down for using AI all the way. Like you just,
Mm.
I feel you find like your weak spots, and if it can help you there, you use it. But if it can't, you know, put in more work,
Mhm.
because AI need humans. So I think
That's right. Yeah, like I always say, when cars were being produced back then, my understanding, they were using horses and cars and buggies and stuff like that. And when
okay,
people said, "Oh, we are moving from there to something that will be engine powered," a lot of people said, "Oh, whoa, 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 hold it, it's not going to work." But then here we are, we have cars right now,
yeah,
and the buggies are still there. But once you go there, it's become a fashion. People go out and, when they are on honeymoons or if they are on a visit and those kind of stuff, it has become something historical and cultural. So I think that is the way that we going. So with what you indicating, the only thing that I can say is that the possibility might exist that um, people might be unaware. Say if I want to take CJJONNY's music,
oh,
how am I going to do with it? How am I going to deal with it? Am I going to go all out with it, or bits and pieces of what he has done? And in that sense, if I hear something that is so unique with me, how am I going to deal with it? So
Mhm.
there's something out there that needs to be ironed out. So you know what? That's why I asked that question, Petra.
Yeah, most definitely. I just want to kind of just continue what you're saying when it comes to AI. It also is a very it's a very controversial topic, should I say, because you can see it from many different angles. I mean, like you said, CJ Johnny, um, using
yeah,
AI just to kind of cover a weak spot is definitely the way to go. And I said
yeah,
that before. AI is a great tool, but it has to stay as a tool. It can't really be the main
the
thing,
main,
because if it becomes our main thing, it's gonna eradicate a lot of the things that we have in place. And to be honest, like humanity is the main thing, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
over AI.
yeah,
So I feel like there is a push from certain individuals to kind of, I don't want to necessarily outwardly say replace humanity with AI, but that's
yeah,
kind of what it seems like
yeah,
is
yeah,
the agenda that they're trying to push, you know?
yeah,
And in the music industry, we as artists, we're feeling it so much because of, like, I mean, there's other industries, like you see it when it comes to, like, say, Amazon. All the Amazon
yeah.
employees are striking and walking off the job because Elon is now replacing a lot of them with robots. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
True,
So they have
true.
their own fight. Our fight in the music industry is the use of AI imitating our voices and then creating music off our voices. So now our intellectual property rights are at risk,
Is
but because AI is still so new,
Hmm.
there isn't really anything in place. But
true.
artists are really feeling it. I remember I'll never forget this. I heard Ice Spice's Munch sang
Yeah.
as Michael Jackson. And I
Wow.
was just like, you know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson's voice singing an Ice Spice song.
Wow.
Like,
And
it blew my mind.
What?
Yeah, you can search it. Ice Spice and Michael Jackson singing Munch by Ice Spice. I was
wow.
like,
Wow. That.
And to me, it's hard to know how
That's
to feel
next level
about it.
AI shit.
You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like certain artists, like a Michael Jackson, like those artists, like their name carries weight. It carries a level of respect.
Yeah,
So to me, you know what I mean? Making him sound like Ice, singing that Ice Spice song is fun in one regard. But for me personally, because of my respect and regard for music, is a
yeah,
bit, it was kind of disrespectful. That's what I
yeah.
got from it. Because to me, like, he's a heavyweight. And I feel like you're
You
hearing
should do
that with Drake's voice, or so go ahead.
that.
Yeah, you hear it with so many different artists, their voices are being used, you know, without their knowledge. So my question is like, I mean, like how far is this gonna go? Like, have you thought about that? Like, how would you feel? You know, like what's your take on that? Like, you know, somebody using your voice, CJ Johnny,
Yeah,
um, in a
yeah.
song or remixing one of your songs with AI. Like how would you feel about that? And like,
Okay. Yeah, I did kind of like ask myself that too. Like, okay, maybe you sitting somewhere and someone already used AI to use your voice and make another track that is probably going viral
mm-hmm.
and a whole lot of streams, and you're just in your room on your studio hearing the song for the first time, and like that's my voice, but that wasn't my work. So at that point, that is disheartening because I don't know, like, what's the organization you're gonna write to now that's gonna put up like, okay, oh, this is copyright, or you're fragrant, like you're using the wrong voice, and it's kind of like it's 50-50. Because in that moment I'm like, okay, what's the best thing to do? Do you kind of like own up to it, like, oh yes, I did that, and probably go on to perform those songs? Because if you do own up saying, okay, yeah, the AI made the song, but that's me, I'm gonna perform the song, what's gonna happen then? You get me? That is
Mhm.
one side of the story. And then the other side is probably the song is not just of taste to like what you would put out for yourself. How do you fight it? Or how do you
Mm,
take down that song? It's still unanswered. So I think it comes down to the artist and the 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 labels too, because I feel like people like Spotify and Apple, they shouldn't be able to like put those type of materials on their platforms and make money off of it, or make streaming, or probably even get fans off of that if it's not properly checked. So I think as soon as Apple, Spotify, as soon as they start countering that, then maybe there's gonna be like a hope for us to like stop the copyright part of AI. But if that doesn't happen, I think the best way is to just probably adapt to it, because and adapting to it means you just gotta be online always. You gotta be looking out for your songs. You gotta even have your own copyright stuff in check, because I think a lot of artists still don't have a lot of things in check. Like, I know of artists who don't even have their datas. They don't even have their own Spotify logins and stuff like that.
mm,
So, not to talk about ASCAP or having, you know, rights and all that signed up. Like, a lot of people are not even registered. So, probably educating artists is
yeah.
also part of
Mhm.
program that needs to be invested in. If we're going to say, okay, oh, AI is coming to take our market, but what market? A lot of artists don't even know the markets. Now, not to talk about, if you don't know the art markets, what do you know? How much do you know they're taking from you? You get that part. So I
Mhm.
feel, as much as it is on the corporation, on radios too, to kind of like checkmate the songs that they're going to be playing, and okay, which is really coming from the artist and which is an AI song. The artist also has to be aware of the market and the competition, that okay, there's AI there that probably might imitate my song. I have to have like my copyright in check. I have to have my songwriters. I have to be part of some of these bodies so that when such things happen, I can be protected. A lot of people are not on those terms. A lot of people are not arranged. So I think partly that is there's no music education because artists these days, oh, we love music. Okay, a lot of people are not even in music school, business school, or trying to learn. Like you might
Mhm.
you start, but trying to acquire the knowledge to better yourself. Some people are not even putting in the effort, and that's because when you check through on Instagram, how many music educative channels or programs are there? It's usually hard for you to come and buy the new plugin or something. Just buy. There, there's really no open community for up and coming artists who are not assigned to big labels to get the right information. So I feel we need that to tackle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I asked that question. You see, it's solicited. Petra, that's why we talked about some time ago that I think Highway 6 will be interested in having this conversation by having a conference where artists and managers and others will come together and then sit back to think about it. Because one, copyrights, people's copyrights may be infringed, and then how best to solve it. Because, like you rightly said, there's nothing there to educate artists because all that most people do, oh, I'm going to put up this thing, but we are heading into an uncharted kind of waters where anything at all can happen. So I think it's best that we start to discuss it as we are discussing right now, because um, almost every other day when we come here, I always bring it up because it's something that beats me. That is also beat me. There's the pros and cons, and the cons and pros about it all, and I feel it's a way for artists to sit back and then think seriously about it. Whether it's great, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it, but then there's certain things that has got to be factored in if we are to move forward and not get into ourselves in so many problems. Because as I'm speaking, maybe some schools are offering AI lawyers courses and stuff like that to sue and then to unsue and stuff like that. I don't know, but we are heading into certain uncharted waters that has got to be um, taken into consideration. Like you rightly said, there's nothing out there when you go onto IG. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's having discussions about it. I haven't seen any conference or anything that should bind us to say that in our industry we have to start thinking about it. There's nothing out there, so I think that's a food for thought. Petra.
Mhm. No, you both make really good points, and especially you, CJ Johnny, when you talking about the lack of education out there for artists. And I think that's been intentional, and I think it's been intentional for a very long time, because these major corporations, these major labels, they make their money off us not knowing. The less we know as artists, the better it is for them to manipulate and to maneuver around us. But thank goodness for social media, thank goodness for the internet that has allowed independent artists to have access to the knowledge and the education that can allow us to maneuver. And there's a lot
Okay.
more independent artists now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I kind of like had a break in connection. What did you say again? I think it
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
question,
sure.
right?
Yeah, yeah, sure. No, I was saying that you make a good point, and I was saying that um it's intentional, I feel, that these major corporations have artists in a position of not really knowing what's going on, because they make more money, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
without us knowing what's going on, because they can maneuver, they can manipulate, take advantage of us. But
Yeah.
with the emergence of social media, the internet, it's allowed us to form communities. It's allowed us to put information out there that's allowed us to learn. And there's so many more independent artists right now and than there was before, when we had to rely on these major labels for all our information. So, I mean, that being said, we have to continue to educate ourselves. And like TyB mentioned, you know, and Love Bay is definitely going to be also working on that, is having platforms, starting conversations about this, because this AI is gonna increase even more. You know, the use of AI is gonna increase even more, and we need to guard ourselves. We need to put measures in place within our industry so that we don't continue to feel the impact even more. You know what I mean?
True.
So yeah, I think it literally is just creating more platforms. I'm very, very big on education. You know, my mom taught me one thing about education. She said that once you learn something, she said, Petra, always focus on education, because that's the one thing they can never take away from you. Once you
True.
learn something, you can't unlearn it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that we need to value, and yeah, to continue to prepare, you know? So
You have a point there. You have a point.
Yeah, yeah. And my follow up, another question to you is, when do you, Petra? I'm seeing your line of questioning.
I saw that TYB, but go ahead. Go ahead. I know CJ Johnny, he was so excited to know you're on the show. He's taking all my questions. He's like, I'm gonna ask CJ Johnny all of the questions.
Okay. Oh, you know exactly what I'm going to ask. So you just go. We've been
No,
doing
no,
this
go
for a
ahead.
long time, so
No,
we
go ahead.
know. How do you see yourself in the next? I'm not going 5 years, 5 years from now. How do you see?
Okay.
Yeah, CJJONNY. When I do mental picture stuff, I see myself, probably performing more. Like I'd love to take my music from, let's say we hit the heights, the heights, really the top of the music, and we start performing in big stadiums, and eventually I'd love to move into like making movie scores, something like that. Just
Wow.
really, yeah, working with movies and anime, trying to make sounds for that, because then the music will really last long and probably generation. I'd love to be a part of a cartoon or anime, like, that 20 years from now they are watching, and I probably made the soundtrack. Like that would be fulfilling.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
That's so smart. That's super smart. I love that.
Yeah. I love that, because we still watch Bugs Bunny and all the others that are about 50, 30 years. Yeah, I mean,
Tom and Jerry,
Tom
all of
and
them.
Jerry. Yes, that's I love that, Petra. I love that that kind
Yeah,
of.
I remember Destiny's Child. They did the theme song for the Proud Family. Remember the Proud Family?
Yes.
You know, so honestly, that is such a really great idea, and I love that you're saying these things, CD Johnny, because I feel like artists, especially now, have to start thinking outside of the box. They
True.
can't just think, oh, I want to get signed to a label, and that can't be the pinnacle dream anymore. That dream died back in the 80s and the 90s. Now you have to focus on, like you said, building a legacy, 20, 30, 50 years from now. If they know they hear your song in a cartoon, you know what I mean? They're gonna know you, they're gonna remember you, And also something else came to mind too, that because you're also doing a collaboration with Afrobeat and hip hop, which I think is, that sound alone is phenomenal. Those are the two major genres right now that really connect with the youth. So I mean, there could be definitely some youth mentorship programs or some collaborations with the youth that I know
Yeah.
will definitely resonate with the sound that you're doing, and even you as an artist, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Thank you. That's the
That's
that's the
okay. We gotta just have a meeting of the minds and collaborate. It takes a village.
Yeah. I'm open. Collaborating is kind of like funny sometimes, because when you meet other artists, and you kind of like love their work, and then collaborating with them is two different things. Because I might love your work, but that doesn't mean we're gonna collaborate. So, but
Mm.
if it has to happen on a very genuine background, kind of like, and the two parties or the parties involved have to all be like, we all have to know that, yeah, we're doing this together, and we're gonna make it see the light of day, because there's a lot of collaborations that don't see, release dates. So that happens too. It's part of the whole process. So I think if we're trying to collaborate, are we gonna put it out? How are we all think? So that's the part of the questions everyone have to ask and answer. That.
Yep, like a CJJONNY and OT.
Yeah, and I made
Yeah.
that. So,
That's right. That's right.
Honestly,
what?
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. Say it again.
I said it's just like me and OT. We have some songs out, and we still have a whole lot that is not out. So like every day we try and motivate ourselves. Like, bro, we're gonna put this out soon. Okay. But it'll be much more easier. I'm saying it out there for the unions. It'll be much more easier, if we start getting, the momentum, start being out there on bigger shows and start getting to more fans. Like that is really where I'm trying to like push this career to get a lot of momentum, and you're going back to back on shows, trying to really put out that energy, get more fans on your side. So once that start happening, like it's up. So we need that to start happening to probably get
And it
more.
happens.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it happens so quick because remember TYB. I remember when Oxlade was on here.
Yeah.
And that was just before his career like took off. And it's just really beautiful to see like when you guys come on the show and you're talking about your aspirations and where you want to go, then in a blink of a second, you're international, and that's how it can happen. And it's gonna continue to happen for you, CJJONNY. You're a great person, super talented, and there's a lot you bring into the table,
Thank you.
Awesome. So I wanted to ask one question before I pass it over to TYB. Sorry, TYB. How did you question I wanted to ask? So
I hope you don't ask my questions. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm asking you a question right now, TYB.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so CJJONNY, I wanted to ask you because this is your second time on HWY to Africa. And last time you were on with OT, and you've done a lot of things since you came on the show. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel that you've grown as an artist, songwriter, producer since the last time you came on the show? And can you define that growth?
Yeah, I think like since that last time till like right now, like you said, there's been growth, there's been challenges, but in all, I'll say there's been growth, and probably, thankfully, hopefully, all of that, faithfully, this year we're gonna get to higher ground. So I've learned to like kind of like be more open to working with other people, like collaborations mostly, because if you're trying to get to the top, you start realizing the people at the top, they don't just walk alone, they working with a whole lot of people. And that's a lot of responsibility, but there's still a lot of results. So I think the sooner you can start being able to work with people, and working with people is not easy because you have to shuffle characters, behaviors, people have goals, and you just have to learn how to work with people and kind of like put everybody on the same page for yourself, for your mission, even if it's not going to be for a long time. But if you can work with people and achieve certain goals, step by step, that is a much more fulfilling and faster way to work. So that's like kind of like the things I've trying to put into my own work, like trying to collaborate with the right people to make things much more creative, to make things much more like a teamwork, much more tighter. Because if you're working alone, you're gonna be seeing just your own point of view. But if you got like 5 other people who are working with you, who can impute their own ideas and really directions at the right time, that's gonna help a lot. So try and keep building the team. That's what I'm doing every day. Every day I'm like, okay, how do
Yeah, Petra.
I make the team better to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, TyB. Yeah, thank you for sharing, CJ Johnny.
Yeah. We were talking about the AI, and it's I'm always looking at certain things that needs to be brought out so that we'll be able to have a crack at it. I think we had when we had Camido, Petra, when we had Camido on, I mean, was it Camido? I believe it was in. During the conversation, I think he had collaborated with another artist, and they had this song out. It was a major hit, and then the artist was supposed to go and perform. They were supposed to go and perform, but then the other artist wasn't in the country.
Yeah, it was Canada. Yeah,
Right.
I remember.
The other artist wasn't in the country. So in this particular case, I think we haven't sat down with this collab thing. If the music becomes a hit and one artist is going to perform, what will be the other artist? Will the fans or the audience will be in a legal positive way to sue? Because if I'm buying the item and then PETRAA and CJJONNY have produced the album and it becomes a hit, I will feel cheated if you're going to perform and only one artist is there, the other one is not there. I'll feel cheated. I don't think we have looked on the other side too, because I'm always trying to bring out the controversial aspect of it, but it's not. But it's a food for thought that we haven't even thought about it, because he mentioned that during the conversation. So I have been thinking about it as to whether collabing and putting out the stuff out there where it has become a big thing. What becomes of the artist? I mean, the fans who are paying money to go and see the show, to attend the show. Would they feel cheated? Would they be on a very great legal ground to sue because the other one wasn't there?
I think on that basics is a two-way thing, because this has to like come in play if there's like a concert or a performance. Yeah. So we now need the show promoters to play a part here, because if you're promoting a show, you have to have fans know, oh, I'm bringing only one artist, so are you going to sell tickets now for that show? So you have to take that risk. Or you go as far as saying, oh, I need these two artists. I don't care how it's going to be. I'm going to make sure I get two of you come to the show. So I think in that kind of place, it has to really go on the show promoters and the artists working hand in hand. Then to not cause a catastrophe. Because when the fans get angry, everything is messed up. Like, you don't want to go to a show where have fans raging over the tickets you sold and the show they got. That's the worst thing that can happen. So
there's got to be a lot of education there, and for promoters and all these kind of these are some of the things that they don't have to take for granted, because I mean we don't know, because when he brought it out, I said to myself, we discussed it, we never thought about it, but it could happen. It could happen. So I mean, promoters out there, if you are listening, when you're putting out concerts like that, just like what CJJONNY said, you've got to clarify what the fans are expected to expect. PETRAA.
No, most definitely. And what you mentioned, that actually happens with major artists, and it's kind of annoying sometimes. And I think major artists have gotten away with it to a degree, whereby I feel like independent artists kind of started to get away with that. I mean, this time there'll be a collaboration song between, like, say, Drake and Rihanna, and then Rihanna will do her concert and only Rihanna's performing that song, and you'll just hear the audio of Drake, or of the rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that even happened, I think, with Thames, the song she did with Future. You'd hear her singing her part. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like those major artists, they get away with it, but it's the fans that feel it, because when you fall in love with the song, you fall in love with the song for both artists, and you feel kind of like robbed when you go to a live show paying your money and only one of them on stage. It's like, so that is definitely something that does need to be, communicated to the audience. And like you said, CJJONNY, it is the job of the promoter to share that with the audience, with the fans, because when they don't do that, it looks bad on the artist and could totally affect that artist's career for the long term. You know what I mean? So everyone needs to play their part.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know why I always try, looking into all these kind of stuff. But sometimes when I sit back, I always think of all these things. But I think it's high time we sit back and, like we said, if you sign with a major company or a big company, all they are looking at is the green thing, the money. But then back in the day, they used to, nurture artists, how when you go out there, how you behave and all those stuff. These days it's not there. Because if you look at the Motown artists, they were faithfully dressed in suits and all those kind of, how you talk, what you have to do, what you don't have to do. But today it's not like that. They sign you up. People are so excited to have signed it with this major label, but you're signing your life away. But that's a different topic altogether. But I think it's been great chatting with you. But what will be your last words for your fans listening to us?
Okay, I'd say, they should expect, new music this year, and they should support, because without the fans, there's really no artists. So I'd love them to just, keep pushing on CJJONNY, however they've been pushing on, sharing my music, showing support on the social media, and I'm gonna bring a lot to the table, a lot of good music, and hopefully we start selling our shows. Because I'd love to organize or work with, show promoters to be out there more this year. So I'm open to that.
Petra?
Love that. And then also when it comes to that EP, when can we expect to?
Yeah, the EP is gonna come. Let's say January, like from April. I think like the 4th month of this year. Yeah, we should have gotten the EP. So it's soon. It's soon.
Woo!
Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear it. And also, where can the fans, anyone listening out there, if they want to get in contact with CJJONNY, any promoters, anybody want to listen to your music, how can they keep in touch with you?
Yeah, they should, my email, ststjohn@gmail.com, or you find me on Instagram, st.stjohn on IG. I'm on Facebook too, and on Twitter, St. John Sounds. I'm mostly active on Instagram on my mails, and you can still catch me on Twitter. So please, promoters, super fans, you have like a concert, a house party, a small arena, working songs. Because I got a lot of catalog of songs, and we're about to add to that. So I want to start sharing it with the fans, So that's it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, CJJONNY. It's been a pleasure. We can't wait to when that EP drops. It's been great to have you on the
Yeah,
show. We're super excited for all the great things you have coming up. Thank you for being our
yeah.
first guest for our first show of
Woo!
2025.
That is
Oh, I can't hear
straight
you.
up.
Say it
We're
again.
blowing. I say this is gonna be the blow up here. Like me being the first person here. It's I'm starting the year perfectly.
Exactly. So honestly, we wish you
Yeah.
the best of luck. We can't wait to keep in touch with you, and we're going to be connecting throughout the year and staying informed. And yeah, any final words, TYB?
Well, it's been great anytime that he comes on the show. We're so excited for his forthrightness. And I think we've discussed things that hitherto, people may not have been thinking about it. And he's been very out there. And my advice to you from where I sit is that don't forget about the old song. There's nothing like old songs. Go back into your library out there, tweak it a little bit and put it out there because you know what? There's nothing like old songs. We are still sampling James Brown's music. So if it's there, hey, go for it because there's a lot of um, artists out there or the fans out there who may not have listened to James Brown or for that much, any other person. So that's my final word, Petra.
Most definitely. And I want to definitely, for my final thought, I definitely want to emphasize what CJJONNY mentioned about education. As an artist, it is so key.
Um, hello,
It's,
guys.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
we can
had
hear
some
you.
network glitch.
You popped in at the
Okay,
right
I had
time.
some
I just
network.
mentioned your name and you popped in.
Okay.
Yeah, I was saying for my final thought, I definitely want to emphasize what you were saying out there for the listeners about education. If you're an artist, definitely educate yourself about the industry, educate yourself about labels, about being an artist, about promoters. It's definitely important. Education is key because as TYB mentioned,
Yeah.
these major
Yeah.
labels
Yeah.
are no longer developing artists. They just care about the dollar. So it's up to us
What?
to educate and develop ourselves so we can be the best examples that we can for the listeners and the fans out there in the music. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can I speak? I also feel like there should be like I don't know, like more communities to kind of like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems Petra, he's having um, some problems out
relations
there.
and network. Like
Mm-hmm.
Oh, CJ, you cut off a little bit. You wanted to repeat that, please, CJ Johnny?
Yeah, on that note, Petra.
Okay. Yeah, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. But yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure. Thank you everyone for tuning in all over the world. To myself, TYB, our special wonderful guest, CJJONNY. Next week we'll have our third musketeer back, Ron Malinga. He'll be in the house. Again, shout out to Ron, shout out to everyone that was listening in. And yeah, we're sending you lots of love. So please join us again next week on the Highway 6 to Africa.
Africa. Bye-bye.
Bye, Love Bay family.